uncontrollable vomiting, seizures caused by severe dehydration, hospitalizations after accidentally taking 10 times the intended dose. These are some of the real-world consequences that have been reported after GLP-1 overdoses. And while medications like Wegovy, Zepbound, Ozempic, and Mounjaro have helped millions of people improve their health, there is another trend that is happening at the same time that does not get nearly enough attention. Calls to poison centers related to GLP-1 medications have skyrocketed in recent years. In fact, poison centers have reported a nearly 1,500% increase in GLP-1 related exposure calls since 2019. So what exactly counts as a GLP-1 overdose? How does it happen? What symptoms should you watch for? And what should you do if you think you've accidentally taken too much? Let's talk about it. The good news is that most GLP-1 overdoses are not intentional. Most happen because of medication errors. As these medications have become more popular, they've also become available through more sources, including telehealth providers and compounded medication programs. That has created situations where people may be using syringes and vials for the very first time. They are confusing milligrams with units. They're accidentally drawing up too much medication, taking doses too close together, injecting the wrong amount from a multi-dose pen, and skipping the gradual dose escalation process. Poison center data suggests that the vast majority of GLP-1 overdose cases involve self-administration errors rather than intentional misuse, and many of those errors happen during the very first injection. Some of the stories are pretty alarming. One patient reportedly injected 2 milligrams of semaglutide instead of the prescribed starting dose of 0.1 milligrams. Another injected 2.4 milligrams instead of 0.25 milligrams when beginning treatment. Doctors have also reported that patients accidentally take injections daily instead of weekly. And in one case, a patient used a family member's medication and mistakenly injected herself every day rather than once per week, eventually becoming so sick that she required emergency treatment. There have also been reports, unfortunately, involving children who accidentally gained access to a parent's medication and required hospitalization. These examples highlight why proper storage, education, and understanding your medication are so important. One thing that makes GLP-1 overdoses tricky is that the symptoms often look like an extreme version of the medication's normal side effects. The difference is the severity and the duration. First up, severe gastrointestinal symptoms. The most common symptoms include severe nausea, repeated vomiting, diarrhea, intense abdominal pain, and the inability to keep food or fluids down. Because these medications stay in the body for a long time, symptoms may last for several days rather than several hours. Second on this list, severe dehydration. This is where things can become dangerous. If someone is unable to keep fluids down, dehydration can develop quickly. Signs of this may include dizziness, weakness, rapid heart rate, very dark urine, not urinating normally, and confusion. Severe dehydration can lead to kidney injury and electrolyte abnormalities. The next symptom, hypoglycemia. Many people assume low blood sugar only affects people with diabetes, but experts warn that hypoglycemia can occur after GLP-1 overdoses, even in people who are not taking insulin. Symptoms for this can include shaking, sweating, dizziness, confusion, blurred vision, and loss of consciousness in severe cases. If you're taking insulin or sulfonylurea medications in addition to a GLP-1, the risk may be even higher. And the next symptom, pancreatitis. Severe abdominal pain should never be ignored. Although uncommon, persistent, intense abdominal pain could signal pancreatitis, and it should be evaluated immediately. Now let's talk about one of the biggest contributors to accidental overdoses. Compounded GLP-1 medications. The issue isn't necessarily the medication itself. The issue is that a compounded product often requires patients to measure doses manually using syringes. That introduces an additional opportunity for error. Many overdose reports involve people accidentally taking several times the intended dose because they confused units, milliliters, milligrams, or because they misunderstood the syringe markings. Some patients have reported taking 10 times the intended dose due to measurement errors alone. That's one reason it is so important to receive clear instructions and fully understand your dosing before you start treatment. So what should you do if you accidentally take too much? First, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. There is currently no antidote that can reverse a GLP-1 overdose. Treatment focuses on managing symptoms and preventing complications. Step 1, you want to call poison control. If you think you've taken too much medication, contact poison control immediately. In the United States, the number is 1-800-222-1222. And they are available 24 hours a day and can help determine whether you can safely monitor those symptoms at home or if you need a medical evaluation. Step 2, monitor your symptoms carefully. You want to pay close attention to vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, dizziness, signs of dehydration, and low blood sugar symptoms. If you have diabetes and a glucose monitor, check your blood sugar regularly. Step 3, seek emergency care when needed. Go to the emergency room immediately if you experience uncontrollable vomiting that lasts more than several hours, an inability to keep fluids down, severe abdominal pain, signs of severe dehydration, confusion, loss of consciousness, and seizures. These situations require medical attention. Fortunately, most GLP-1 overdoses are preventable. Here are some simple safeguards. First, never double up on a missed dose. Follow the prescribed titration schedule. Verify your dose before every injection. Understand the difference between milligrams, milliliters, and units. Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider to demonstrate proper injection techniques. Store medications safely away from children. And if you're using a compounded product, make sure you fully understand how to measure your dose before taking your first injection. And if you're ever unsure, stop and ask questions before injecting. A 5-minute conversation can prevent a trip to the emergency room. GLP-1 medications have helped millions of people lose weight, improve blood sugar control, and reduce health risks. But they are still powerful medications. The recent rise in overdose reports isn't a sign that these drugs are inherently dangerous. It is a reminder that proper dosing, patient education, and safe medication practices matter. Most overdoses happen because of confusion, not because someone is intentionally taking too much. The good news is that these mistakes are often preventable. If you're taking a GLP-1 medication, take the time to understand exactly what you're injecting, exactly how much you're injecting, and exactly when you're supposed to take it. That simple step could make all the difference. If you've ever had a dosing scare or learned something the hard way while you were taking a GLP-1 medication, share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help someone else avoid that same mistake. I hope you found this video to be helpful. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.